What is up, guys? Rick Hackus here, and this is the gold review of the ICR-1 assault rifle in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Now, after utilizing these weapons for a long period of time and eventually achieving gold on them, I'm going to go back and review these weapons to help you guys along your quest for gold and eventually diamond camo. I aim to make these gold reviews the gold standard for weapon reviews in Call of Duty, by offering the highest level of insight and quality you can find in a weapon review. Now let's get started. What we're going over today is firstly the overview of the ICR-1, next its damage profile, then moving on to recommended attachments. After that, we're going over some tips that will help you along your journey for gold camo with this weapon, and lastly my closing thoughts on the ICR-1. Now let's kick it off with weapon overview. If I was to describe this weapon in one word, it would be accurate. The ICR emphasizes accuracy above all other fully automatic assault rifles, and that's the thing, fully automatic. Although you may still get beat out at very long ranges by things like the M8 or the Shiva because they simply hit heavier, the fact that the ICR is fully automatic gives it a degree of forgiveness. It makes it very user friendly because again, this gun can pick off guys by going fully automatic from across the map, something that most other guns cannot do. But also, since it is fully automatic, if you are charged by an SMG user up close, you can also just hip fire and take that enemy down. Again, you may be beat out by the Shiva at extremely long ranges, however, if the Shiva user is rushed by an SMG user, they're probably going to die. The ICR-1 fits perfectly with players who have a passive playstyle. They like to hold down hallways more than they like to rush into objectives. But they're not so passive that they only want to engage enemies at long ranges, and therefore they want to be covered in both closer and medium range engagements, and that's where the ICR excels. Now let's move on to the ICR's damage profile. The ICR-1's damage and range in terms of pure statistics are as follows: 30 maximum damage out to 21 meters, then dropping down to 29 damage out to 42 meters, and then sloping down to 22 minimum damage. What this means for you is that it's going to be a 4-shot kill from this distance you're seeing here. This is your optimal range. Everything from this point forward is where you want to be engaging enemies. Now the main thing that strikes me about this damage profile is the ICR-1's consistency. Even though you should try to engage enemies within that 4-shot kill distance, and putting a long barrel on will basically double it, and therefore you're going to kill from across the map in 4 shots, again, you're only going to drop down to 22 damage, which is going to equate to a 5-shot kill. So at the longest possible ranges, the worst thing you're going to do is kill in only 1 shot more. That is extremely consistent. This damage profile is combined with a 600 rounds per minute fire rate. And this is where the downside for this gun occurs. You can't have this degree of accuracy and consistency in terms of damage without some sort of drawback, and in this case, the drawback is a relatively low rate of fire. This is going to mean that you simply aren't able to compete in those closer medium ranges with the faster firing assault rifles and SMGs. They're simply going to outpace you when it comes to time to kill. With that being said, let's move on to the recommended attachments for the ICR-1. Now, I already mentioned long barrel. Although long barrel, again, you're only going from 4 to 5 shots, so it may not actually be that necessary for the ICR-1. However, extending your 4-shot kill potential basically indefinitely is a huge benefit. So the long barrel is basically going to be one of the best things you can put on any assault rifle. But for the ICR-1, my number 1 recommended attachment would actually be an optic, the BO3 target tracker sight. This sight is perfect for the ICR. Firstly, it actually has a decent amount of utility to it. It glows red when you're actually aiming near an enemy. The thing is, it actually glows red in very useful circumstances. When you're aiming kind of at the water, it'll actually glow red and give away that there's an enemy beneath the water. Very, very useful. Multiple times when using this sight, it has definitively saved my life. Showcasing an enemy that's hiding in a bush, again, hiding in a water, hiding behind a waterfall, something like that, and it's able to glow red, and I'm able to know that there's an enemy that I am currently not aware of. Another great thing about this sight for the ICR is that its zoom is actually a little bit higher than it is on a normal red dot sight. This is exactly what you want with an ICR. You don't want the zoom to be as much as something like an ACOG sight because that can impede your ability to engage enemies at closer and medium ranges, but you want a little bit more zoom to be able to actually utilize this gun's long range potential. This is exactly what this optic offers. With that being said, you can also choose to forego an optic entirely, as the ICR-1's iron sights are actually pretty good. Again, the problem is that you're not utilizing it for its full long-range potential if you're doing that. Now, with that being said, the ICR at its base level, there's nothing really wrong with it that you need to correct with attachments. As such, it's very customizable. If you want to make up for its downsides and make it a lot more functional and medium range, you might want to put quick draw and stock on it. You can, again, use it a lot more in medium range at that point. If you want to emphasize its long range potential, putting on the BOA3, the long barrel, even high caliber is going to do that. So you get a lot of play with this gun and how do you want to utilize it. Now let's move on to the gold camo tips. What advice can I offer you in your journey towards gold camo with the ICR-1? Well, I think the main thing that you've got to be aware of when using the ICR-1 is that you can actually go for headshots. This is not available for a lot of the other weapons. If you're using something like the HVK or the Man of War, if you start shooting at someone's head, in a few shots, you're going to be shooting above their head at nothing, and that's problematic. But with the ICR, because its sights really don't bounce around almost at all, you've got to get used to actually purposely starting to aim for the head rather than for the chest. In fact, kind of try to aim just upper chest, neck area, and that's going to give some degree of forgiveness. But again, you can actually go for headshots with this gun. You don't have to rely on it recoiling upwards. Now, after you've gotten 100 headshots with the ICR-1, there's going to be more camo challenges before you can get your gold camo. Now, for most people, some of the most difficult involve getting 5 kill streaks, getting launch shots, etc. Now, the first things you should do as soon as you get those 100 headshots, do the camo challenges that involve you using the weapon with firstly no attachments, and sometimes it screws up. I found that when I actually had because I prestiged my ICR, I found that when I actually had the clan tag on, where it showed my clan tag, it actually didn't count as using it with no attachments. And make sure you're not doing that. Make sure you're using it with absolutely nothing on it except for a camo. You can use it with a camo. But try to do that first, and then do the one where you put 6 attachments on it, and do those camo challenges first, because while you do those, you're often going to be getting other camos in the background. You're going to find yourself going on a 5 kill streak when you're using it with no attachments, for example, and then those will progress your other camos. Definitely do not do it in the reverse order. I see way too many people just utilizing their ICR as normal with 2 attachments or whatever, saying, oh, I'm going to try to get 5 kill streaks first and then I'll do all this other stuff. Do the other stuff first. Definitely do those 2 camo challenges I just mentioned, because you're going to be able to achieve so many other camos in the background, and it's going to be substantially easier on your time. Now, I mentioned long shots. When you're trying to get long shots with the ICR, long shots can be difficult for other weapons. It's definitely not going to be difficult with the ICR. It's very easy to get long shots. You can do it in normal core, but I would definitely recommend using an optic for long shots. Again, the iron sights are very good. A lot of people I see not using an optic and using iron sights, which is again totally acceptable. But for long shots, you do definitely want to have some sort of optic. Even bumping it up to an ACOG sight is going to be acceptable, because if you're just trying to iron sight someone from across the map, it can become pretty difficult. I use the BOA3 sight that I mentioned beforehand for the long shot challenge. It was very helpful in that. That little bit increased magnification really does come in handy. But again, use an optic for that challenge. Now, for the kill streak challenges, getting 5 kill streaks with this weapon and with only this weapon, one of the main responses from a lot of people I see is that they want to put a silencer on and ghost on and just try to go for kill streaks. This is actually what you don't want to do. Silencer is going to dramatically cut down on the range of your ICR, and you're just going to end up losing way more gunfights than you otherwise would. Just use your ICR as you normally would, and you will eventually get those kill streaks. If you alter your playstyle, if you change what you've been doing with this weapon to purposely go for kill streaks, that can often come back to bite you. Again, just try to use the weapon as you've probably been using it to get kill streaks all your way up to those headshot challenges. Now for getting rapid kills, definitely just play in objective mode. Honestly, like, you'll get those done if you play one game of Safeguard. People bunch up and it's very easy to come into a room and just spray down 2 enemies just like that. So do not try to get this challenge on something like Kill Confirmed or Team Deathmatch. You're gonna have a lot more trouble on those game types. Now lastly, my closing thoughts with the ICR-1. Did I enjoy it? Was it a good gun? Well, overall, I definitely enjoyed my time with the ICR-1. If I was to say, like, is it a good gun or is it a bad gun, I would definitely lean to more a good gun. However, the ICR, its only really redeeming feature, its main feature is that it's very consistent and it's very, very good at longer, medium-long ranges. However, too often, you're actually outshot by something that's also good in close ranges. Every once in a while, you just lose a fight to an HVK user, and you're thinking, well, why did I lose that fight? What was the point of that? The HVK shoots faster, it's way better at close range. I'm supposed to be the one winning these gunfights. And that does happen every once in a while. There's a lot of guns that, have longer ranges, can extend to further distances than you think. And so you really need to be aware of these people when using the ICR. You're not going to be able to completely melt people, at all long range gunfights. People actually can melt you back. Now, with that being said, you definitely win more longer range gunfights than you lose with other guns, but you definitely need to make sure that your playstyle is such that you're always trying to engage enemies from further distances. You are not going to win battles rushing into places, trying to capture objectives, trying to go and be aggressive within the game. You need to be a lot more, as I've said, passive. And there's really nothing wrong with that. Your teammates can capture the objective while you're held up in an upper position, mowing everyone down, coming to try to deal with your teammates. So you can definitely still be a useful asset to your team while still maintaining a passive playstyle. Now that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and a lot of work went into this video, so if you enjoyed this video, please remember to show your support by simply liking and sharing it. Now if you want to see more Black Ops 3 content, please remember to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter. That's linked in the description of this video, as is my Twitch channel, which you can follow as well. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day. We need to make it to round 12.
Hold on. I have to go unplug my SCUF controller, get my control freaks out, get in my DXR gaming chair, and anything else that makes me a better player. I gotta go do that real quick. Oh yes, I need to go get my tub of G Fuel. I have the pineapple flavor. It's so good. Oh my god.